Broadcasting from the creation of time to the end of the world.
There is no freedom without the law.
Whose law, Moses? Yours?
This isn't the end, son. I know.
Buckle up, baby. This ain't your grandma's Christian show.
I done changed my life. You ain't got to say that. I am living for the Lord.
It's time to get down and dirty on Change for That.
Welcome back to Change for That. Happy Christmas Eve. I'm Chester Proctor.
I'm Curt Toodle.
And I'm Cedric Thrower.
Have you guys noticed the beginning of that movie, the beginning of that song, the clip from the beginning of the show, the clip from the movie, from the Ten Commandments when he says, "Whose law, Moses?" That guy says, "Whose law, Moses? Yours?" He's like a New Yorker.
Is that Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's not him saying that.
Oh, okay.
But that's from the Ten Commandments.
Right, the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, "Whose law, Moses? Yours?"
Well,
you get some water. I didn't know the Jews of old were New Yorkers.
Possibly.
Is that where they came from? I thought they came from Italy, the New Yorkers. So I'm a Christian New Yorker. So anyway, well, I guess they'd be Jewish. I'm a Jewish New Yorker. Welcome to the. I guess you can have Jewish New Yorkers. Welcome to the show, Chester Proctor. Change for That. Curt Toodle and Sedrick Thrower. We're proud to be here with you on this Christmas Eve edition of the show. Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to you tomorrow.
Merry Christmas to my Nana and Aunt Teh, who are undoubtedly listening right now.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah. And they love the show, by the way.
Oh, do
they? Like me and they like Chester.
Oh, okay.
They've got good taste.
They like y'all, but love me.
They got good taste.
Yes.
You are their favorite.
Yes. Yes.
Aunt Tay?
Aunt Teh.
Teh?
Teh.
Teh.
That's
Teh.
what we call her.
How do you spell that?
T-A?
T-E is what I've always done.
T-E?
Teh.
Okay,
Yeah.
Teh.
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 Teh. Sup, Teh? It's like,
Thank you for listening.
Sup, cuh?
Yeah.
What's her real name?
Caroline.
Caroline.
I can understand where you get Teh from then. Aunt Teh, yeah? Where'd we get your name from? It's short for Caroline. All right. Next time I see somebody named Caroline, I'm going to call them Teh.
Okay.
Well, what do you call your
that.
grandmother? Do you call her grandma?
No, I call her
Meemaw?
Nana.
Nana?
That's
What do you
she
call
wants.
your grandma?
She's dead.
What did you call your grandma?
You just made that really dark.
Meemaw.
Meemaw? Did you have another grandma?
Yeah.
Do you know your dad's grandma?
Yeah.
Do you know your
dad's
dad?
mother? I know my dad. Okay. Are you kidding me right now? Yes, I know my dad. I know who my dad. I have a relationship with him. My kids have a relationship with him. I had a relationship with my grandfather on my dad's side. Yes.
Teasing. So what was your dad's mom's name?
Grandma Stanley.
Grandma?
Grandma.
So you call grandma.
I call her Grandma Stanley. Meemaw. Grandma Boo.
Grandma Boo.
Mm-hmm. Grandma Boot.
Oh,
B-O-O-T.
Boot. I used to call my kids when they were little Boot.
And
Boots.
I had Grandma Madea. I had 4 grandmothers.
You don't have a Grandma Medea.
Madea, yes.
Do you have any grandchildren?
Is her name Ma Dia or Medea?
Madea.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Not Medea.
See, I have 4 grandmothers because my mom's mother, my stepdad's mother, my dad's mother, my stepmom's mother, and I have a relationship with all of them.
And you know them all.
I knew them all. They're all dead.
Do you have any grandkids?
Yes,
Cedric?
I do have 3.
What do they call you?
They
Are they
call-
old enough to talk?
Yes, they are. One called me Papa, and then
I was about to say you look like a pop.
Papa, P-A-P-A.
Not a pop.
And
but
then
a
I have
pawpaw.
and then I have one that called me Pop, P-O-P.
I was
Does he
close.
go pop?
Yes, I was trying to pronunciate.
Yeah, you were. Pronunciate or enunciate?
Enunciate.
Okay. What?
Get it right, pop.
How old are they? They gotta be little.
2, 3, and 4.
You know, that's funny. Are you just making things up now?
No, really, that's their ages.
2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and about to be 4.
How old are you? 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, December 27th, my oldest will be 4.
Oh wow.
Yes.
All right. What's it like being a grandpa? Pop.
It's joyous.
Yeah.
It's full of joy.
You get all the joys and none of the responsibility.
and none of the responsibilities.
I hope I'm not a pop at 40.
and my son is a very good father to his 3 boys.
Is that Damien?
Damien,
Yeah.
yes.
I like him. I don't know him very well, but I just see him on Facebook and stuff, and he seems like a very young you. Not a very young you, but he seems
a
like
younger version.
I could see him, that you're his dad. So.
Oh God.
Well,
Damien, watch yourself.
That's right. Well, no, if he turns out like you, with the exception of a few things, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Stay out of handcuffs.
Stay out of jail a few times, and
Yeah.
Next week on the show, we're going to talk about how many times each one of us has been to jail.
Oh, really?
with our resident
1,
expert.
2, 3, 4. No, I'm just teasing.
And that's just Cedric.
No, and that's just for being black.
That's right. You can't say that on Christmas Eve.
I'm sorry.
It always comes back to you. It
What?
always comes back to
It's
this.
the truth. It's the truth. I'm dreaming of a black Christmas. How about that?
What does that even mean?
It means absolutely nothing.
It's just taking.
It's just like dreaming of a white Christmas
Yeah, I got
in
it.
Vidalia.
I got
It's not going to happen.
What? Oh, you mean
A white
it's
Christmas.
Not gonna. It's not
Yes,
gonna rain.
It's not going to snow.
I mean, snow.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago, I was up in Atlanta in that snowstorm.
Yeah, my daughter was too, and she was excited.
I didn't see her.
You didn't see her in Atlanta?
No.
Maybe it's too big.
It might be. What part was she in? What part was she in, Cedric?
Lithonia. She was at my sister's
Oh,
house.
really?
Lithonia.
That's where there was a robbery of a robbery of the Waffle House last Monday in the news.
Really?
In Lithonia. Have you checked on her in a couple weeks?
She's home now.
Okay, good.
Yes.
They're looking for her.
Yeah, she came home Saturday. Run, come on home.
Well, I'm glad she's home and safe. I came home Saturday too because of that weather. We were driving on the interstates at the same time, probably.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She finished her first semester at Brenau University in Gainesville.
Really? Already?
With a 3.5 GPA.
That is great.
She's doing awesome. I'm proud of
Brenau
her.
is a girls only school, so that's even better.
Yes.
Because that's what my daughter.
Well.
What?
Because of all the politics, they have now started accepting guys, or it'd be discrimination.
Brenau University is no longer a girls only school.
Well, they have a girls only college, which means that there's girls only dormitories and things of that nature. But they do have about 10 to 15 guys now enrolled at Brenau.
Those
in
guys
in night classes or something.
Those guys refer to that as heaven. Where do you go to school? Heaven.
Yeah.
Is the ratio? What's the ratio of girls to guys there? 1 to 60.
500 to 2.
That's crazy. And then that would be 1 to 250.
Well, anyway.
Well, whatever. That's sad, actually. But
It is. I mean, but but there are females that go to all guys colleges.
Yeah.
Like Morehouse has some female graduates.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Morehouse was all guys.
Yeah, just like Spelman is all female.
Yeah. I didn't know Spelman was all female.
Really?
Yeah, these are all black.
Yes,
Yeah,
HBCUs.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't
Historical
know any
Black
of these
College or
schools.
University.
Clayton State is that way, right?
Clayton State is a HBCU.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I have a friend who goes to Clayton State.
That's in Jonesboro.
No, that's in Morrow.
Clayton County is Jonesboro, Morrow. Yes.
Oh, is that all the same area?
Yes.
Oh, when I would see him, he was in Morrow.
Yeah.
Now
Same.
he's in Locust Grove, but he drives to Morrow.
Now Locust Grove is Henry County.
Okay. All right. Kurt has given us the hurry up sign.
Okay, so
I
on to
don't think
other
our
news.
listeners care.
Can we talk more?
What
can
I
we
was
talk more
quietly
about Tay?
trying to tell y'all.
Let's talk about Tay and Nana.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yes.
Because that's what everybody wants to hear about.
Listen, I didn't talk about them. I just gave them a shout out. You guys ran with it.
Actually, they're listeners. We'll give them a shout out.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Although my friend up in Morrow, he's a listener too. But
That's
whatever,
right.
whatever.
And my daughter listens.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
but whatever, right?
Okay.
Apparently, if you're not related to Kurt, you're just not important enough.
Land the plane, Chester.
Oh, I'm going to crash the plane.
Hey, so how do you feel about Christmas? Actually,
Well, I'm
being a
excited
Christian?
about Christmas, but this question we get every year, guys, is should Christians celebrate holidays such as Christmas? We get this at Halloween too.
Really? I can understand Halloween, but Christmas, really?
Well, I guess the issue would be
The tree.
well the tree, Santa Claus, toys, bunnies, baskets, candy.
Oh, Christmas.
Well, and Easter, right? Because this is I want you to prepare yourself. The
Because
question
Easter?
about Easter will come up in 4 months.
Why we never get questions about Valentine?
Would you like to see if we can find somebody to ask that question?
I would, so
All right.
that I can do the research. Yeah,
You can do it without someone asking it, but okay.
The one day a year when you're nice to your
it
spouse.
would give me a reason.
Well, somebody wrote in one time to a website that asked this question back in 2011 and said, I received I'm sorry, but every time I tried to watch the sermon, the decorated Christmas trees in the background were disturbing to my spirit. I turned it off. I am discouraged and disappointed because of the trees. Guys, do you have trees in your churches?
Well, look,
I do.
Wait. We have to address this first. If you allow a Christmas tree to keep you from hearing a word from God, you have deeper issues.
Duper issues.
Deeper
Deeper
issues.
duper.
Yes, you do. I mean, you're going to allow a Christmas tree to keep you from hearing the word of God.
Do that again.
You have duper issues.
Do it again, Curt.
I don't know if I can.
Okay.
Duper,
Deeper duper.
deeper. Listen, I'm from South Georgia.
South. It's just,
SOUF.
He from South Central
South
Vidal.
Georgia.
it's just something about that tickled me duper. But I mean, it maybe we've got listeners that are upset by that, or that sit there and go, I'm because I'm going to tell you something. I struggle with legalism. But I struggle with legalism in a different way, and this is not for today's show, but I've thought about maybe having you guys, having Alan Ray back on the show with us to talk about some of the free grace theology, because free grace theology tends to make me struggle with not being legalistic. So that's a show for another time, because that takes a lot of study and prayer. But actually, we're probably all three of us free grace more than anything else, but there's some aspects of that theology that will affect us. And so... and I say that because I know we're not any of us Calvinists.
Yeah, because nothing is black and white.
Although, yes, except this show.
And it has some gray areas. Yes.
But, the issue here is are we... let's forget about the fact that the winter solstice was a mixture. Christmas has become a mixture of Christian and pagan holidays. Because if you don't know that, now you do. The issue here, can it not come down, and this is a free grace thing, but can it not come down to celebrating Christmas in a way that you're comfortable with? And if you are comfortable with that, does a pagan thing that might have been something 2,000 years ago, does that have to have the same
it has no
meaning
effect.
in your house if
That's
you
right.
don't? Like, to me, Christmas trees, whether they do or don't have a pagan history, Christmas trees, for me, have always been a symbol of the time of year and family and gathering.
That's right.
And that was something for my family, and that was something that we still, although I don't care to do it, but it's not because I don't agree with it, it's just because I'm lazy. But I don't, we go out and cut down a tree every year, and we come back with a tree and put a tree in our house.
I go too. Mine grows in my shed.
I don't do it
Got it
because,
from Walmart.
They didn't pay for that.
I don't do it because of the paganism. I don't. I really
Right,
don't.
right.
I don't know anybody
But-
that puts up a Christmas tree
but-
that says, I'm doing this for
But
pagan
no,
reasons.
I'm saying I don't put up a tree, but I am starting to consider doing it because I have grandkids.
Yeah.
I really am, but I want to make sure that I put an emphasis on the true meaning of Christmas. I think that if you're able to have the tree and have the true meaning of Christmas explained to your children and your family, and everyone understand that it's not about the tree, it's not about Santa Claus, that it really is about Jesus Christ, the one that died for our sins, then you're okay.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
Then we got to go to break, but funny story real quick. And I think where we're leaving this is basically just maybe stop being so worried and so legalistic about this stuff and just enjoy the holidays.
Just enjoy the holidays.
I
I
mean,
mean, we have the Christmas tree up in our church just because it's simply because it looks pretty.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's it.
well, I think that's important. I mean, Christmas. Now, see, Christmas celebrates the eternal. I'll tell you that story in a minute. Christmas celebrates the eternal life of Christ, the birth of Christ, right? Do we? Jeremiah 10:1-10 deals with worshiping decorations, but we don't worship decorations.
We don't worship the tree. No.
No. So why are we? I don't think we. I just don't. I think we're making waves where waves don't need to be made.
Now,
Should you not paint your house?
if there's a
Good point.
if there is a Christian who's actually worshiping the tree, then yes, they have an issue, and we need to educate them on not doing that.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, I think to each his own.
Want to
really.
hear something funny that was in an article I read recently? If we're worried about that acknowledging holidays that originated with pagan traditions, then should we also not acknowledge the days of the week whose names originate from false gods like Sunday, the sun god, and Monday, the moon god? I mean, think about that. What we don't realize is the pagan tradition is rooted in our lives in
our
many ways,
history.
in our history in many ways. But just because it's there doesn't mean that we've embraced it.
I mean, for that matter, should we be using wooden spoons when we're cooking?
That's right. I know what you mean. I got what you're saying.
Or are you brewing up a potion?
The issue here is the heart. So, funny story about the Saturday I was coming back a couple weeks ago from Atlanta. I was really tired. I pulled off at a gas station just off of 16 before you get to Soperton in the Orland community. I decided I was going to get something to drink, use the restroom, and kind of get back, try to wake myself up for the 20-minute drive home, which wasn't that bad, but I knew I was getting tired. So I walk in there, and the first thing I do is use the restroom. By the way, this gas station, you have to buy something to use their restroom. So I walked in and let them know that I was going to buy something, and then I went and went over to the restroom, and I couldn't get the key because somebody was in the restroom. So I'm standing there kind of half awake. My eyes are literally half open. They're like, I'm about to fall asleep standing there. I'm in this daze, right? And the door opens to the male bathroom, and out comes a man dressed as Santa Claus. And I, full-fledged outfit, he really looked good, and I went, whoa, like kind of out loud, and he just laughed, and I went, I didn't expect to see you here.
Where's your sleigh?
Yeah, that's right. They were out there, Rudolph and Mrs. Claus.
He parked on the roof.
He had a Mrs. Claus with him, but she didn't look very much like Mrs. Claus. She was obviously had an off day that day. But anyhow, it was just funny to me, because who runs into Santa in a gas station bathroom and lives to tell about it?
Chester.
Yeah, that's right. He was actually dressed really nice, like gold trim. It was like Santa meets Creflo Dollar, It was ridiculous.
Change for that. We'll be right back.
Change for That is brought to you with limited commercial interruption online by GG's Landscaping.
Back to the show. Change for that.
And welcome back, everybody, to Change for That. Follow us on Facebook and on Twitter and on Become an Insider Group on our Facebook page. And, of course, you can follow me, Sedrick, and Curt on our personal private Facebook pages because we love you. And we're heard on great radio stations like WVOP in Vidalia, 970 AM and 105.3 FM. 70 years in radio, WVOP. So happy anniversary to the voice of personality. And also you can get us on the app, right, Sedrick?
That's right, on the app on your iPhone or your Android.
All right. Download the free Change for That app. And as soon as our shows become available every Sunday at midnight, we will, unless Chester forgets to upload it, which has happened before, then when you wake up that next morning, it will be available for you, or you can take it with you and listen to it during the week.
Good job.
Do you guys have the app on your phones?
Yes, I do.
Do you listen to it?
Yes, I do.
I don't, on the app.
You listen on the radio?
No, I do it on my personal computer.
It's personal.
Personal computer.
That's what a PC is.
Why did you call it that? 2017, you can call it computer. I'm
Just
sorry.
say your desktop.
I'm sorry, Curt. It upsetted him.
It upsetted me.
Well, last week, President Trump announced, not last week, 2 weeks ago, President Trump announced
Here we go again.
that the U.S. would officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. We've had a lot of questions flood in by people who asked, really, where should we stand on this? Surprisingly, a lot of Christians don't know. Fierce support and fierce opposition, and this is going to divide the world very much so in a division that's already taken place. Now it's going to be even more now that the U.S. president has come out and supported or officially recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Now, most of the Arab world, as they say out in the country, the Arabs, most of the Arab world has opposed it and even responded with some violent actions. Much of Israel and many Americans praise the president's bold move. The question, guys, what should we do? Should we fall on the side of president or should we fall on the side of the Arab nation?
The Arabs.
For the first time, I think I agree with his.
This is not the first time.
I agree with.
To be clear, before
President
you say
Trump.
you agree with me, okay, never mind. I
Well,
thought you were agreeing with me.
President
I was
Trump,
kidding.
Recognizing Jerusalem, that
Deeper dupers.
I think he's trying to. He's trying to do something. I'm just not sure what it is. But, hey, kudos to President Trump.
Well, so you don't know why he did this? Sorry.
No, I don't. I don't know why he did it.
Don't apologize to me, Curt. Apologize to Sedrick for making him feel bad.
No,
I just know he recognized, because that was the headline. President Trump recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of
where?
Israel.
Yeah, but what did you say? He recognized what is the capital?
Jerusalem.
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 You've been drinking?
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem.
That was really loud.
Sorry.
Wow.
You know,
Sorry.
I promise you, if I didn't know that y'all, if I didn't know that y'all didn't love
That we
me,
loved you, that we
yes,
do. Yeah.
I would be offended.
Well, in 1949, which was a little over a year into Israel's nationhood, the prime minister then said there will always be and always has been one capital only, Jerusalem the Eternal. Thus it was 3,000 years ago, and thus it will be, we believe, until the end of time. So this issue is that that we are moving our embassy there, and we are going to believe it. Palestinians are not happy, and the battle over there in the Middle East it has been raging for some time because the Palestinians say Jerusalem. Both Palestinians and Israelis claim Jerusalem and control over it, and they clash over which group has true ties to the city. And this goes all the way back to pre-Christ Old Testament biblical conflict.
Right.
This is not new. This goes back to biblical conflict. So the idea that this is a big, I think this is a big player, and I think anybody who looks at eschatology in the end times has to look at Israel and what happens in Israel, depending on what you believe about the tribulation in the end times.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I said. I said, okay, so prophecy is being fulfilled, is what I thought in my mind. I said, okay, this is truly the end times, which we have been saying this for the last 100 years. I'm quite sure people have been saying that.
Yeah.
I think every generation has thought theirs is the last one.
Yeah, but I think we're closer than ever before.
See, but Israel's only been a nation.
Well, we couldn't be farther away.
For 70 years. That's true. That's true. We couldn't be.
I just wanted y'all to agree with me for once.
So it's going to – now the question is, is this – I mean, obviously Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli president, supports moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. You weren't going to see that under President Obama. Obama was not going to stand by Jerusalem. Trump is standing by Jerusalem. The problem I have, or the question I have, and this may be a question that you say, yeah, but so what? It's going to happen, is does this, in fact, usher us closer to the end times? I had a guy on the show before Curt joined as a guest. EndTimesProphecy.com was his website. He talked about all this in so much amazing detail that I was lost after the second sentence. But that's where this kind of comes back to.
I truly feel that this would definitely put us closer to the end times. Anything we do, for that matter, from this point forward, puts us closer.
But does it usher it in?
I mean, you can't.
Does it help usher it in? Other than just time passing by, does it usher it in?
Is it actually going to happen?
Based on this, based on what's happening here,
based on him recognizing it,
does it usher it in? Does it bring it in quicker, or not quicker? Is this a player in that role, in that coming, or is this just another event in time?
Curt?
It's kind of a loaded question. Not necessarily a loaded question, but we can say yes or no, it does or it doesn't. But the fact is, all we can do is really speculate because
true.
That's the whole point here.
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
what's your speculation?
My speculation is yes.
I
That's
don't
my
Say that a word.
speculation.
Say that a word again.
My speculation.
What's your speculation, Curt?
I don't know whether it ushers it in or not. I think it's a good thing for us to be behind Israel, though.
Well, what about this? Now, think about this. The U.S. Congress passed a law many years ago requiring the U.S. to move the embassy to Jerusalem and recognize it, thus recognize it as the capital. But previous presidents, not just Obama, but previous presidents before Trump have said the national security risks posed by moving the embassy were too great. In other words, it would anger the Palestinians. Mm-hmm. And it would put us in danger.
Well, I mean, Trump don't mind putting us in danger, and of course he don't mind fighting. So if it does put us in danger, I'm quite sure he's going to defend this country. Is
that something that we should be concerned about?
Of course, because it's going to happen. We're already living under terroristic threats as it is without him making this move, and this is going to be a major deal to the Palestinians, of course. So where they have attempted to have these terroristic threats or shows of terrorism, they're going to increase, definitely.
Well, here's the issue. If you are an amillennialist or a post-millennialist and don't believe in a future restoration of Israel to their ancient lands like premillennialists do, then but then you're going to not believe that this is a situation that's coming. But if you believe in the interpretation of Scripture in the literal sense with a good hermeneutics, and you approach it that way, then you're going to you just about can't help but see this as a part of the coming of Christ. Bible.org puts it this way: the fact that Israel is now in their ancient land, organized as a nation, and the impressive recent events which have put the city of Jerusalem itself into the hands of Israel have to a large extent revealed the premises and conclusions of both the amillenarians and the post-millenarians to be in error. To claim that this supports the entire premillennial interpretation may be presumptive, but it certainly gives added force to the normal interpretation of Scripture in predicting such a situation.
And also, I think President Trump is trying to secure his second term.
Well, he promised this.
And he's fulfilling it.
He promised to have a wall built in his first year.
Well, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
So he got to do something.
But I think that I think in some ways he promised not to get on a political,
right,
a political examination of the president. But I think he promised a lot of things that he couldn't deliver, and which is every politician. But I think he promised a lot of things he couldn't deliver, and so on the things in which he can deliver, maybe that's what you're seeing.
I think this is definitely going to help him with his conservative Christian base.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
And I don't think that you have here a president who is, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you have a president who is making this decision based upon biblical. Had George Bush done this, I would have thought maybe more of a biblical perspective. I don't think that President Trump is any more.
It's a power move.
It is.
This is something that he was told he couldn't do or shouldn't do, and he said, "No, I'm going to do it."
Well, it may be. It may be. I don't think he's any more Christian than I think President Obama was as far as their daily life. Maybe they believe, like we talk about easy believism. Well, I believe because I just believe. Yeah. But actual relationship change, I think politics motivates this.
Yes.
But regardless of what motivates it, if this is actually going to usher in the end times, get ready because bigger events are going to happen. Let me get some of these verses real quick. Matthew 24, 1 through 2, Matthew 24, 15, 24, 27 through 31, Daniel 11, 31, Daniel 9, 27. Just some views or scriptures for you to look at the end time prophecy that deals with this area that we're talking about. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into it. Guys, we got about 20 seconds.
Well, I think that we just need to continue to pray for our country, our nation as a whole, for our safety and security, and that the nation will turn.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Change for That.
We are so over.
Fine by me!
We'll catch you next time.
Don't leave me.
Okay, I'm sorry. What were you saying? We only had 20 seconds.
I was saying, that we need to pray for our nation, that our hearts will turn back to God, basically.
And
as a whole.
Deeper dupers.